This video is a very quick tutorial for Tunisian crochet. For anybody that wants a very quick tutorial or that has practiced Tunisian crochet before and has not done so in a while and just wants a very quick refresher. So today we are going to have a look at the foundation row, a very simple Tunisian simple stitch, and how to bind off. Tunisian crochet is worked at the front. It is never turned and worked on the back, so it's always worked forwards and backwards in a forwards pass and a return pass. So to begin, we need our starting chain, and I'll leave that there so that we can see our work. A starting chain, just like we do in crochet, of however many stitches, chains you want to start with. I have 8, and I have a Tunisian hook. This is an interchangeable. I've just removed the cable. You can use ones with ends on depending on how many stitches you're working on. I've just removed my cable. So to begin with, just like you would working back on a crochet foundation chain, you can miss the first stitch and go into the second stitch, into the stitch itself to work into the stitch, or some people like to turn their work and work into the back bumps. Today I'm going to work into the back bumps and show you how to do it that way. So we want to work quite loosely. I've tried to create quite a loose foundation chain, so missing the first stitch, missing the first back bump, working into the second back bump quite loosely so that our stitches are quite loose. We want to pull them up so they're quite high stitches, because what we're doing in this row is not working into our stitches, but we are creating stitches for a row that we're going to work back on. So we're going into the back bump, yarn over and pull through all the way along until we have how many chains we began with, and I had 8, so I have 5, 6, 'Try and keep tension quite loose and stitches quite high. Last stitch sometimes needs wiggling a little loose. So count your stitches, 8 stitches. Now we're going to work back on our return pass, because we do not turn Tunisian crochet, we work forwards and backwards. So just like we would when we're crocheting, we want to chain 1 to create height, so that creates a stitch. So to work backwards on our return pass, we want to yarn over and pull through 2 stitches. This is a simple Tunisian crochet stitch. Yarn over, pull through 2 stitches, yarn over, pull through 2 stitches, yarn over, pull through 2 stitches, all the way until you have just 1 stitch left on your hook. So that is your return pass. Yarn over, 1 stitch left, all the while keeping your work quite loose so that tension is not too tight and your work does not curl. We want it to be quite loose and stand straight and flat so it doesn't curl up. Then when we work the next row, the next forward pass, we are going to work into these vertical posts that are standing up. Now we should have 8 because each one represents a stitch. We won't be working into this first stitch because our stitch that is remaining on our hook is our first stitch. So we will miss the first vertical post and we'll be working into the next vertical post and every vertical post hereafter. So to work this stitch, we yarn over, pull through and pull our stitch, just like we did the previous row. In, yarn over, pull our stitch up quite tall, through front post, yarn over, pull tall, yarn over, pull tall, yarn over, pull taut. Now when we come to our last stitch, instead of working into just our vertical post, we want to turn our work, and we can see, just like when we're working a crochet stitch, we have a V here. So what we want to do is we want to work into this V here, both the front standing post and the back stitch, creating a more secure, tall, neat edge through, and then yarn over, pull through one. Let's create our turning chain, and then yarn over, pull through two, all the way along our return pass, keeping our tension loose. And again, one stitch, and then we should have a gap. That's normal to have a gap underneath. So again, I'm going to quickly work through forward pass, pulling up our stitches into the post, yarn over, into the post, yarn over, I'm going to pull through there, caught onto something here, I've caught the stitch underneath. And again, looking, turn sideways, find that V to secure that edge in, that stitch, wiggle a little bit because it will be a tad tight, yarn over and pull through, and then a turning chain, and our gap is filled. And again, yarn over, pull through two for our return pass. So at the end of this row, we're going to work backwards, and then we're going to bind off in a very similar to way that what we do when we create our stitches. But instead of creating our stitches, we're going to work all the way through. So we're going to go through the post, pull through, and then pull through our previous stitch. So again, create our stitch and pull through our previous stitch, like we bind off with crochet. Create our stitch and pull through the previous stitch, remembering to keep our tension quite loose. We don't want our tension to be too tight. So create our stitch and pull through our previous stitch to bind off. Again, and then again for our last stitch, turn our work, find our V, work through both stitches, keep it nice and loose for our edge, and then we bind off. And that's how to work the foundation row: forward pass, return pass, and bind off. That's the back. So then we can just block, stretch it out, make it nice and neat. So that's a very quick tutorial Tunisian crochet.